This is the broadcast from City Hall, the home of the Greater London Authority. Please stand by. This is the broadcast from City Hall, the home of the Greater London Authority. Please stand by. This is the broadcast from City Hall, the home of the Greater London Authority. Please stand by. This is the broadcast from City Hall, the home of the Greater London Authority. Please stand by. This is the broadcast from City Hall, the home of the Greater London Authority. Please stand by. This is the broadcast from City Hall, the home of the Greater London Authority. Please stand by. This is the broadcast from City Hall, the home of the Greater London Authority. Please stand by. This is the broadcast from City Hall, the home of the Greater London Authority. Please stand by. This is the broadcast from City Hall, the home of the Greater London Authority. Please stand by. This is the broadcast from City Hall, the home of the Greater London Authority. Please stand by. This is the broadcast from City Hall, the home of the Greater London Authority. Please stand by. This is the broadcast from City Hall, the home of the Greater London Authority. Please stand by. This is the broadcast from City Hall, the home of the Greater London Authority. Please stand by. This is the broadcast from City Hall, the home of the Greater London Authority. Please stand by. This is the broadcast from City Hall, the home of the Greater London Authority. Please stand by. This is the broadcast from City Hall, the home of the Greater London Authority. Please stand by. This is the broadcast from City Hall, the home of the Greater London Authority. Please stand by. This is the broadcast from City Hall, the home of the Greater London Authority. Please stand by. This is the broadcast from City Hall, the home of the Greater London Authority. Please stand by. This is the broadcast from City Hall, the home of the Greater London Authority. Please stand by. This is the broadcast from City Hall, the home of the Greater London Authority. Please stand by. This is the broadcast from City Hall, the home of the Greater London Authority. Please stand by. This is the broadcast from City Hall, the home of the Greater London Authority. Please stand by. This is the broadcast from City Hall, the home of the Greater London Authority. Please stand by. This is the broadcast from City Hall, the home of the Greater London Authority. Please stand by. This is the broadcast from City Hall, the home of the Greater London Authority. Please stand by. This is the broadcast from City Hall, the home of the Greater London Authority. Please stand by.
Can I welcome members and officers here at City Hall and the public here in the gallery or watching on the webcast to today's meeting of the GLA Oversight Committee. Please may I remind participants to turn your phones off or put them on silent, and can I also ask members to ensure that any electronic devices are not placed in front of their microphones. Can I ask the clerk, Nicoletta Kemp, to confirm any apologies for absence?
Thank you, Chair. We've had no apologies for absence.
Excellent. Moving on to declarations of interest, can we note the list of offices held by Assembly members? Thank you. And can I ask members if they have any disclosable pecuniary interest in specific items listed on the agenda? Perfect. Moving on to membership of the committees, can we note the membership and chairing arrangements for the committee which were agreed by the Assembly at its annual meeting on the 10th of May 2024? Noted. Thank you. Terms of reference, can we note the terms of reference for the GLA Oversight Committee and its as agreed by the London Assembly at its annual meeting on the 10th of May 2024? And also note the standing delegations to the chair of the GLA Oversight Committee. Thank you. The re-establishment of working groups and panels. Can we note the re-establishment of the Elections Review Working Group, the Chief Officer Performance Review Panel and the Standing Orders Working Group with the terms of reference, seat allocation and memberships as set out by the London Assembly at its annual meeting on the 10th of May 2024? Thank you. Minutes. Can we confirm the minutes of the meeting of the committee held on the 28th of February and the 11th of March 2024 to be signed by me as a correct record? Agreed. Thank you. Moving on to summary list of actions, and I did want to take pause here just to reflect on the fact that in November 2023 we held a session looking at HR and IT shared services, and there's still a number of what I consider to be very reasonable requests still outstanding from that meeting. We are hoping to get them back sooner rather than later, and so I would highlight my concern that we haven't received response to that and pass it off to scrutiny officers to perhaps chase very hard, and perhaps to suggest to the team it would be better for them to provide that information before they get to the meeting and we ask them why they haven't.
Chair, perhaps the delay relates to the fact that TfL has a 28-day turnaround for anything at all in particular?
Thank you. We're still well up. 28 days we'd take at this point. I believe Assembly Member Russell also has a quick comment.
Yes, thank you. Just on the safety, pedestrian and cyclist safety in particular around the Silvertown Tunnel mouth, there's a helpful response that has come back in a letter to you, Chair, from the 17th of April. And I just note that they have... there are some community liaison groups that Riverlinks are holding with the local community, and I'm just wondering whether we can actually find out how to get to attend those, because I think I'm hearing a lot of concern about what's going on there, so it would be useful to be able to get in touch with them.
Yeah, can I ask we make a note of that and go back to ask them for those details so that and circulate to members?
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, with all that in mind, can we note the completed and ongoing actions arising from previous meetings of the GLA Oversight Committee?
Noted.
Thank you. Action taken under delegated authority. This is going to be a long one, so hold your noting. Can I ask the committee to note the recent actions taken by the chairman in consultation with the deputy chair and party group lead members under delegated authority to agree the following: the committee's letter to the Mayor of London regarding the GLA Green Finance Fund, the committee's report on the GLA group consultations, the committee's letter to the Mayor of London on the London Pensions Fund Authority, and expenditure of up to £6,000 for the purposes of the elected member pay review.
Noted.
Thank you. Can I also ask the committee to note the recent action taken by the former deputy chair in his capacity as chair of the Cost of Living Working Group in consultation with members of the Cost of Living Working Group to agree the report of the Cost of Living Working Group?
Noted.
Thank you. Okay. Response to committee outputs. Can we note the response from the Chief Officer to the committee's investigation into the HR and shared services transfer?
Noted.
Thank you. Allocation of 2024 to 25 Assembly Member Services budget. Can we note the proposed budget allocation for the Assembly's party groups for the 24 to 25 year?
Noted.
Thank you.
No, agreed, actually.
Noted.
You are...
apparently.
No, we need to agree it.
Do we need to agree the allocation?
We need to agree it.
Sorry, agreed, yes.
Yeah,
Apologies.
agreed.
Agreed.
Okay. Okay.
See, we are awake after all.
Oh, wait. We were just testing them, weren't we? That was, yeah. Okay, I'm now going to propose moving the State of London debate. So, agenda item. Members will see that a supplementary agenda has been circulated with a further report on the State of London debate 2024 for the committee's consideration, which has been admitted to the agenda for the reasons set out on the supplementary agenda. To assist with the conduct of business, I would like to propose that we vary the agenda order and take this item next. Is that agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you. I would like to welcome Nicole Valentinuzzi, Assistant Director of External Relations, and Mary Hartley, Chief Officer of the GLA, to discuss this item with us. I think I've had indications from Assembly Member Russell. If you're seated and ready, or are you good to go, Nicole? I don't want to.
Waiting for my computer to join us.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay. Caroline will lead in gently to the question to help you.
Yes, so I am interested in the security arrangements. As you'll know, for previous State of London debates, there was text included about previously known protagonists who were going to be sought out, and so we had quite a lot of discussion about what a previously known protagonist might be. So I have been looking at the security points in the paper that's come before us, and I'm glad to see there's no previously known protagonists mentioned, but it does say that the admissions policy is going to clarify the refusal of entry, but we don't have a copy of the admissions policy here, and I think it would be very helpful if the admissions policy could be shared with the committee so that we can understand exactly what is in that. Obviously we understand that there needs to be proper security in place, but it is also really important. This is part of the democratic engagement with Londoners, and it would be, given that the security teams have previously had this broad catch-all of previously known protagonists, it would be good to know that someone who just happens to have been on a demonstration previously is actually going to be able to enter this event and will be able to participate in this democratic process. I think also there's an awful lot of stuff saying that on ticket confirmation we confirm that disruptive behaviour will not be tolerated. I think it would be really helpful to just be clear about what disruptive behaviour is so that people are very clear about that.
Yes, so the admissions policy is, the standard GLA admission policy refers to, and I can share it, it's usually published when we announce the event, refers to carrying weapons or any banners or that type of thing. There's no reference in the admissions policy about personal behavior per se. So I can absolutely share that, and then also the O2 has admissions policy as well because they have airport scanning. So that's what that refers to in terms of the policy itself. There is information sharing with the security teams and the police, and there is nothing on the night that we would do to stop an individual person from attending who is following the admission policy and arrives without any of those banned items, essentially.
Okay, thank you. It would be, yes, really good to just see the admissions policy. That would be fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Assembly Member Georgiou.
Apologies, Chair. I think Assembly Member Prince had his hand up in front of me. I don't know if Keith, if you want to go for it. Yeah, sorry.
In that case, I'll go to Assembly Member Bakari, who indicated before that.
Thank you, Chair. Just about cost effectiveness. I'm sure there'll be a breakdown on costing, but an analysis on the cost effectiveness of having it at the O2 for an anticipated audience size. I mean, have you got any kind of analysis on that? That we will get a full audience there, and that we, in terms of cost, it should be covered.
Yeah, I can provide afterwards a full breakdown, but every time we've had the event at the O2, we've had a full audience, and the costs also cover the security arrangements as well, which are quite extensive.
There has been a look into comparable venues and the difference in terms of cost as well.
There is. I don't have it in front of me right now, but yes, as part of our routine scoping for events venues, generally, yeah.
Thank you, and you'll be sharing that with us later.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much. And yeah, just to confirm, I think the committee would like to see that scoping document if you could forward. Thank you. Assembly Member Prince.
Thank you, Chair, and congratulations on your elevation. To the Chair of the Committee for the year. So, I suppose my question's to Nicole, if I may. The report says there will be an independent chair. How are you defining independent?
So, since the report was filed, we have now confirmed that the LBC will be our media partner as per previous years, and James O'Brien will be chairing.
Okay. In that case, I think I'll leave it there and let my colleague.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Mary and Nicole. So, has there been any consideration to an alternative chair who can demonstrate greater impartiality and similar experience to James O'Brien, such as senior London journalists such as Mr. Swarbrick or Mr. Ferrari of LBC, Simon Harris, Ross Lydall, Charlene White, or a community leader who has shown to be impartial in chairing these sorts of things?
So we've entered into this contract with LBC, and they are the ones who have provided the chair as to that's their decision. Sorry. There.
I appreciate that, but given that it's our decision to enter into that arrangement with LBC, I'll give you a few examples of something that possibly could cause some consternation depending on where you sit on the impartiality scale. So, for example, Mr. O'Brien has held an in-conversation event with the Mayor of London to promote his book Breathe. He has a YouTube series entitled James O'Brien versus the Government. In his book How They Broke Britain, James focuses a lot of his thesis on Conservative politicians and the government. Mr. O'Brien demonstrates a continued bias against the right-of-centre politics in his LBC show. And during the 2023 State of London debate, Mr. O'Brien singled out Conservative politician Suella Braverman, MP, for criticism, and he asked open-ended questions which were, of course, extremely critical of the government. So, given all of that, surely we must have something to say on a possible impartial alternative chair.
I can't really elaborate at this point because the LBC are our media partners, and they have put forward the chair that they have suggested as part of our contract with them.
I appreciate that, but surely, given there is a significant evidence base out there on Mr. James O'Brien, do we not have a view? Do officers not have a view? Does the GLA itself not have a view?
I do not have a view as an officer.
Okay, fine. I will move on, and I'm pleased to have now put my views about Mr. James O'Brien on record. Will all deputy mayors be attending?
It's unclear at this point.
When will it become clear?
Probably closer to the event.
Okay, all right. Final question from me. What due diligence will be taking place to ensure the questions asked are representative of independent Londoners and not planted by interest groups or campaign groups?
So at all GLA events, we ensure that the audience is representative by attempting to reach and include Londoners at the registration process. While the event is going on itself, that is the chair's responsibility to choose people's questions as they come up.
Well, which one takes more weight, the GLA's opinion on what questions should be asked, or a biased chair?
I don't believe the GLA has an opinion
But my question relates to mechanisms that we have for asking impartial questions. Now, I appreciate officers have already expressed that they do not have a view on whether Mr. O'Brien is impartial or not. How do we make sure that genuine questions are asked by real Londoners and not solely campaign groups, plants, or people from political parties? Labour, Conservative, Liberal, Democrat, Green, anyone. We want, because the way I see it, Chair, is that we would want genuine questions from genuine Londoners. So how do we go about that process?
There is a brief to the chair. There are people invited from right across London to attend the event and register and be there to ask questions of the mayor. I'm not sure what I can add beyond that.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
Thanks. Nicole, this comes up every year, and we talk about the impartial and biased notion of chairs. And with all due respect, to make this not party political, when Boris Johnson used to do this, he used to have Nick Ferrari, which I think the same argument would be made as to the impartiality. Is there anything you can do for your work on the terms of reference and on how we describe the State of London debate so we don't fall into this trap? Let's make it obvious. The mayor's going to pick a friendly host to take them on these State of London debates, and I think pretending it is otherwise, or the wording being interpreted as though it is otherwise, is unhelpful, perhaps. Is there anything that can be done with that so we don't run into the same kind of discussion every year?
If you could leave that with me, I will take that suggestion.
Is that a fair point?
That is a fair point, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the only other question that I had was around accessibility to this, and how are you making sure that it is accessible to all Londoners, and especially those without internet access?
We have when people register, they can indicate if they require any support at that point. It is an in-person event, so people can attend. And yes, it is
Can I
available
take you
online
back
as well.
to registration?
Yeah.
So can people register via phone?
I believe there's phone register. We take phone-in questions. I will double check.
Okay. I think it's very important that when people book to come, they're able to register to attend by phone.
Yeah, we definitely take phone-in questions.
Or mail, if that's easier. And then obviously going forward to that event, I know there's been some problems with PQTs when people have had to come with scan a barcode, and that has also prevented some from attending.
Okay,
So
I'll look into that. Yeah.
Are we making sure that access for those that don't have the internet accessibility or means to scan a barcode, it's possible for them to attend?
I will check on that, yes.
Okay. If we could have some more details about that, I think that would be really important.
Sure.
Looking around, and everyone seems very satisfied. No. Everybody looks as though they are done. Okay. With that in mind, I'd like to thank both of you for joining us to the discussion. I mean, Mary, did you want... Just wanted to drop in and see us. You missed us.
I didn't want your first meeting of the term to be without me.
Yeah. Well, it was lovely to see you. Thank you for dropping in and seeing us. So with that, thank you to both Nicole and Mary for joining us today. Can we note and provide views in relation to the proposals as to the form and procedure for the State of London debate, which is to be held as a hybrid event from Indigo at the O2 on the 20th of June 2024 as contained in the report? Noted. Brilliant, thank you. The next meeting of the committee is scheduled to take place on the 13th of June 2024 at 2 p.m. in the chamber at City Hall. Unfortunately, I can't promise you it will be done within 20 minutes. Apologies. I've put the bar too high now, haven't I? Sorry. Yeah. Any other business? There is no any other business, so I hereby close this meeting.
This is the broadcast from City Hall. the home of the Greater London Authority. Please stand by. This is the broadcast from City Hall, the home of the Greater London Authority. Please stand by. This is the broadcast from City Hall, the home of the Greater London Authority. Please stand by.